ربي صل عليه يا ربي صل عليه صلوات الله عليه مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the Lord of all the world, to whom we belong, to whom is our return, and may His choicest blessings go to the highest of Allah's creation, our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most generous in companionship, the most gentle in speech, indeed the most eloquent ambassador to humanity at large. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Idris Khamisa. I have the pleasure to be your co-host this evening.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Sufia Azmat. I'm from the USA. I'm the Executive Director of the Council of Islamic Schools in North America. If you looked at your program book, you might think I'm Dr. Farah Ahmed, but I am not. You will hear from her soon, inshallah. It truly is an honor to be here and to co-host with my dear brother Idris. Thank you for joining us. If everyone could please have a seat, we're going to begin.
On behalf of the Global Association of Islamic Schools, we'd like to welcome you all to our inaugural gala dinner. We'll begin with the best words, the words of Allah. Indeed, we are honored to have Imam Jamal Furqan Gul with us today. He's a graduate of Darul Hadith, is a Hafiz of Quran, has studied the Qira and recited at Aya, Sophia, and Zutu Pasha. We call upon the beloved Hafiz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم وإما ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فاستعذ بالله إنه هو السميع العليم صدق الله العظيم الفاتحة
Jazakumullah for regaling us with such a beautiful recitation of the Quran. Indeed, it's a moving experience, alhamdulillah. Now, we won't detain you for too long. I know many of you are hungry, but inshallah, we'll also satiate you in that way. It's now my pleasure, inshallah, to call upon Ustad Ismail Haki Tavman, President of the Istanbul Sultanahmet Foundation. And when you look around this building, it seems to be steeped in tradition. It has a wonderful history, inshallah. He'll share some of that history with us.
Cüneyt Bey. Cüneyt Bey burada mı? Öyle mi? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sayın Bakanım, Sayın Rektörüm, kıymetli eğitim yöneticisi arkadaşlarım, dünyanın dört bir yanından payitahta, İstanbul'umuza gelerek bizlere şeref veren, payitahtın bir eğitim kurumu olan Sultanahmet Medresesi'nde buluşmamıza vesile olan Rabbimize hamd ederek sözlerime başlıyorum.
Assalamu alaikum. There is a small problem related to translation. And what I need to do, I have to hear it again because I was out when he said all these words.
Özetle hoş geldiniz diyerek
Welcome to everybody. I mean, it was, you know, this place, as I remember that I heard while coming here, he was trying to say this is the center of the Ottoman Empire, and where the Ottoman's government, the earth from here, and this is the place, welcome to here. Okay, go ahead.
Evet. Sultanahmet Vakfı yaklaşık 45 yıllık eğitim amaçlı kurulmuş bir vakıftır.
Sultanahmet Vakfı was founded 45 years ago for the education purpose.
Temel gayesi Kur'an ilimlerini tedris etmek, hafızlık eğitimi yapmak ve ondan sonraki diğer eğitim programlarına devam etmek.
The main purpose is to give religious education, hifz program and other religious studies.
İçinde bulunduğumuz medrese,
This building, the madaris that we are in,
Darul Hadis Medresesi.
is a Darul Hadith.
4 asırdan fazla yaşı var bu binanın.
This building is older than 400 years old.
Sultan II. Ahmet Han'ın Sultanahmet Külliyesi olarak inşa ettiği cami ve diğer parçalarıyla oluşmuş külliyenin medresesidir.
Yes. This place is a school that was built by Sultan II. Ahmet as a part of the big mosque.
Benim konuşmamı talep etti arkadaşlar. Bir eğitim merkezi olarak Osmanlı eğitim modelinin sürdürüldüğü bir medresede ne yapılıyordu ve bugün ne yapıyorsunuz bizimle paylaşın dediler. O yüzden huzurunuza gelmiş bulunuyorum.
The reason why I came here, this is a model how the Ottoman education system was. You see in terms of its architecture, and it gives a model also.
Yaklaşık 3 asır bu medresede Buhari ve Müslim diye bildiğimiz Kütüb-i Sitte'nin en önemli 2 eseri tedris edilmiş.
in this building, the most important two books of Hadith, Bukhari and Muslim, was given as an education.
Malumunuz bizim tarihimizde medreselerin ve İslami eğitim geleneğinin inkıtaya uğradığı bir fetret dönemi var. Bu medresede o fetret döneminde maalesef İslami ilimler tedrisine kapılarını kapatmış.
At the time of change from the Ottoman system to New Republic, the place was closed for quite a few decades.
Elhamdülillah bundan yaklaşık 10 yıl önce bu medresede tekrar gayesine uygun vakıfın vakfiyede bize öğrettiği, bildirdiği gayeye uygun eğitim faaliyetlerine başladık.
10 years ago, we have started again as it was aimed in its documents as when it was became a charity. It started to do the same thing again. Elhamdülillah.
Ve hemen yaklaşık 80 küsür yıl ara verilen hadis okumalarına, Bukhari ve Müslim okumalarını 2 sefer hatmederek bu görevimizi bir anlamda yerine getirdik.
Yes. During these 10 years we have finished Bukhari and Muslim 2 times. And we are doing our mission as it was stated.
Ve gelişen süre içerisinde eğitim modellerine uyum sağlayarak üniversitelerdeki eğitim programlarına destek programlar üreterek 4 tane araştırma merkezi kurduk.
And during this time we have founded 4 research centers to help the universities.
Bir tanesi İslami ilimlerde Kur'an-ı Kerim ve Kur'an-ı Kerim ilimleri, hafızlık, talim, tecvid eğitimi yapıldı ve huzurunuzda Kur'an-ı Kerim okuyan evladımız bu medresede bizzat talebemizdir, mezun olmuştur.
Yes, one of them is related to Quranic education, tecvid and talim, and the one who recited the Quran was a graduate of this school.
Bir diğer araştırma merkezimiz İslam Düşüncesi Araştırmaları Merkezi, yani ilmül kelam, hadis, mantık, İslam felsefesi derslerini okuduğumuz bir merkezdir.
The second one is the kelam, the ideology of Islamic sciences is given.
Eğitim dili tamamen Arapçadır.
Education language is totally Arabic.
Ve sizin geldiğiniz ülkelerden de muhtemelen öğrenci olarak aramızda bulunan onlarca kardeşimiz vardır. Yaklaşık bu programın 100 küsur öğrencisi vardır.
This program has around 100 students and tens of them, I mean maybe 40 or 50 are all around from all around the world, like you are coming from.
Ve bu dersleri burada hem yüz yüze hem de online olarak paylaşıyoruz. İngiltere'de, Amerika'da, Kanada'da, Fransa'da 20 binlerde takipçisi olduğunu kaydediyoruz.
Yes, more than 20,000 followers are following our programs all around the world, including United States, Britain, Germany, and other countries.
Bir diğer araştırma merkezi çalışmamız İslam hukuku okumalarıdır. Burada da İslam geleneğinde üzerinde icma ettiğimiz fıkıh kitaplarını detaylı bir şekilde öğrencilerimizle okuyoruz ve yine online olarak dünyayla paylaşıyoruz.
The other one is Islamic law, and we are studying some of the important fiqh books here.
Ve son olarak da
And last,
yazma eser araştırmaları merkezimiz var.
yes.
Yarım milyon dijital kitaptan oluşan bir kütüphanesi var bu merkezin.
They have handwritten books collection, which are online, and more than 500,000 books are present in their library.
Arap ülkelerinden ülkemize misafir gelmiş hocalarımızdan 5 profesör, 18 doktor arkadaşımız bu merkezde etkin olarak çalışma yapmaktalar.
18 doctorate degree and 5 professors who came from Arabic universities are still working in our center.
Birçok İslami ilimlerde ve diğer ilim dallarındaki yazma eserleri tahkik yapıyoruz ve kataloglama çalışmaları da devam ediyor.
And we are examining too many books written in Arabic here.
Ve bu çalışmanın bir ayağı da master çalışması, yüksek lisans çalışması. Lübnan Trablus Üniversitesi ile uluslararası bir anlaşmayla başlattığımız, Türkiye'de de Sabahattin Zaim Üniversitesi'nin çözüm ortağı olarak katıldığı bir yüksek lisans programı yapıyoruz. Biz medrese olarak öğrencilere icazet veriyoruz. Lübnan Trablus Üniversitesi de uluslararası diploma verecek.
And we are giving international diploma with agreement with Sabahattin Zaim University, which is a Turkish university, and Lubnan Trablus University. We are giving international diploma.
Seri bir şekilde söylemeye çalıştım. Çok da zamanınızı almak istemiyorum. Bu vesileyle bu medreseyi gayesine uygun bir şekilde ihya etme çabasına elhamdülillah hep birlikte devam ediyoruz. Hepinize hoş geldiniz diyorum. Şerefler veriyorum, saygılar sunuyorum. Hayırlı
I want
akşamlar
to
olsun.
thank all of you for coming here. We are trying to pursue as it was aimed at the beginning, inshallah. Thank you for coming.
Alhamdulillah. It's so humbling to be in a location with such history and a legacy of excellence. We're really honored to be here. Please enjoy your meal. We do have a special Turkish artist who you'll be able to see some of his work on the screen while you have your meal. Enjoy.
Related to translation, there was a problem with the translation guy, so the translation will start in half an hour. During that time, enjoy your meal.
حينما حل البلاء جئت إليك ذليلا أناجي من لي غيرك ربي يسمع مني شكواي من يستجيب الدعاء إلا الذي قد دعانا إليه، من لي غيرك ربي معقود فيه رجايا. لا تعاملني بذنبي يا جواد يا كريم، إنني عبد ضعيف حظه لا يستقيم. لا تحرمني ربي من لطفك العميم، فسقامي أتعبتني يا ربي الرحيم. قل له كن فيكون، قل له كن فيكون، قل له كن فيكون، قل له كن فيكون. يا مجزلا بالعطاء لا حول لي كي أحال إليه، من لي غيرك ربي يسمع مني شكواي. يا من لقلبي شفاء من كل لا تعاملني بذنبي يا جواد يا كريم، إنني عبد ضعيف حظه لا يستقيم. لا تحرمني ربي من لطفك العميم، فسقامي أتعبتني يا ربي الرحيم. قل له كن فيكون، قل له كن فيكون، قل له كن فيكون، قل له كن فيكون. قل له كن فيكون. قل له كن فيكون.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. فبالله كم تستطب القروح، ويبرأ جروح الكسير الجريح، وينشط ذاك السقيم العليل، وقد كان بالسقم دهرا طريق. تقال العثار العظام به، ويغدو الهوى ككبش ذبيح، بذكر الإله تطيب الحياة، تسر أسارير وجه صبيح، تسر أسارير وجه صبيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. تنحى يا حزن واهجر فؤادا، توكل توكل بجد بعزم فصيح، فإني علمت بأنك نجوى ولبس خبيث مضل قبيح. تبختر ترجل بصوت وخيل، فما لك في الأرض درب صحيح. إلى الله عدنا وبالله نذنا، ليطوى زمان بائس شحيح، ليطوى زمان بائس شحيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. فبالله كم تستطب القروح، ويبرأ جروح الكسير الجريح، وينشط ذاك السقيم العليل، وقد كان بالسقم دهرا طريق. تقال العثار العظام به، ويغدو الهوى ككبش ذبيح، بذكر الإله تطيب الحياة، تسر أسارير وجه صبيح، تسر أسارير وجه صبيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. تنحى يا حزن واهجر فؤادا، توكل بجد بعزم فصيح، فإني علمت بأنك نجوى ولبس خبيث مضل قبيح. تبختر ترجل بصوت وخيل، فما لك في الأرض درب صحيح. إلى الله عدنا وبالله نذنا، ليطوى زمان شحيح ليطوى زمان بئيس شحيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح فبالله كم تستطب القروح ويبرأ جروح الكثير الجريح وينشط ذاك السقيم العليل وقد كان بالسقم دهرا طريق تقال العثار العظام به ويغدو الهوى ككبش ذبيح بذكر الإله تطيب الحياة تسر أسارير وجه صبيح تسر أسارير وجه صبيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح تنحى يا حزن واهجر فؤادا توكل بجد بعزم فصيح فإني علمت بأنك نجوى ولبس خبيث مضل قبيح تبختر ترجل بصوت وخيل فما لك في الأرض درب صحيح إلى الله عدنا وبالله نذنا ليطوى زمان بئيس شحيح ليطوى زمان بئيس شحيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح هدايا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح فبالله كم تستطب القروح ويبرأ جروح الكسير الجريح وينشط ذاك السقيم العليل وقد كان بالسقم دهرا طريق تقال العثار العظام به ويغدو الهوى ككبش ذبيح بذكر الإله تطيب الحياة تسر أسارير وجه صبيح تسر أسارير وجه صبيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح تنحى يا حزن واهجر فؤادا توكل بجد بعزم فصيح فإني علمت بأنك نجوى ولبس خبيث مضل قبيح تبختر ترجل بصوت وخيل فما لك في الأرض درب صحيح إلى الله عدنا وبالله نذنا ليطوى زمان بائس شحيح ليطوى زمان بائس شحيح سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء
Chance that we are here with you and we really believe we are with family. It is my pleasure to call upon the artists, the eager to come, alhamdulillah. Please welcome them.
Bir mikrofon daha vardı. Başlamadan onu da rica edebilir miyim? Eyvallah. Efendim herkese hayırlı akşamlar diliyoruz. Ben Abdülmecit İbrahim Şahin. Arkadaşlarımızla Vefa Türk Müziği topluluğunu yürütüyoruz. Bu akşam inşallah sizlere klasik musikimizden, tekke musikimizden seçtiğimiz Nihavent makamında eserleri yoğunlukta olarak icra edeceğiz. Programa başlarken Rast makamında Abdülkadir Merai'ye ait olan Ahmet Nesimi Subhudem eseriyle düyek bir eser. Bununla başlayacağız. Rast taksimimiz olacak. Sazende arkadaşlarımız müşterek bir biçimde taksim yapacaklar. Ardından Nihavent bölüme geçeceğiz. Sazda tamburda Muhsin Taha Dönmez. Kanunda Ahmet Furkan Duyar. Neyde de Ahmet Yekta Biçer refakat edecek. Herkesi dinlemeye davet ediyorum. Teşekkür ederiz efendim. Şimdi programın Nihavent bölümüne geçeceğiz inşallah. İlk eserimiz Alem yüzüne saldı ziya Ali Muhammed. Hemen ardından Ey gönül bakma cihane ve diğer eserleri de okuyarak en sonunda bu aşk bir bahri umandır diyerek buradaki programımızı sonlandıracağız. Fakat tabii öncesinde Nihavent makamında müşterek bir taksim alacağız. Yine sazende arkadaşlarımızla. Herkesi tekrar dinlemeye davet ediyorum. Kıymetli hanımefendi, biz kıymetli misafirler, şimdi son eserimizi icra edeceğiz. Daha sonra konuşmalar gerçekleşecek. Tamburi Cemil Bey'in bizlere geride bırakmış olduğu en nadide eserlerden bir tanesi. Sevdim seni eğiş ve bas. Çektiklerim takat biraz diyerek sizlere veda edeceğiz. Dinlediğiniz için çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Herkese hayırlı akşamlar diliyoruz efendim. Çok teşekkür ederiz efendim. Herkese hayırlı akşamlar diliyoruz. Hayırlı bereketli çalışmalar diliyoruz. Allah'a emanet olun.
Maşallah. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful performance. I hope you all enjoyed your meal, the performance by these students, as well as the art. And our artist is back there. I was walking by and I saw someone, he was kind of helping to do what he was doing, and it's just really amazing. If you want to take a minute to do that at some point, I would encourage you to do that. Do you remember in the beginning, I said I was going to introduce the person who you thought I was? Dr. Farah Ahmed. She's going to come up next. She is the founder and director of education at Islamic Shakhsiya Foundation, where they develop research-informed curricula and provide teacher professional development. Dr. Farah, please introduce.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank Sufia for stepping in, because I told her last minute that I wouldn't be able to host properly. But I've been asked to introduce Professor Recep Şentürk, which I'm sure the Turkish people in this room, you'll be very familiar with him. For those of you who are not familiar with Professor Recep, he was the founding president of Ibn Khaldun University, a university which had a vision to integrate Islamic educational practices with the social sciences and in other ways. He also is the head of EDEP and ISAR, two independent organizations within Istanbul that are providing Islamic education for women and men, and also of Usul Academy, which is an online equivalent of an Islamic education program that is pioneering in its scope. And finally, I think he's been appointed Dean of Hamad bin Khalifa University recently in Qatar. So I'm just going to hand over now to Professor Recep, and he will be talking to us about Futuwa as a form of Islamic education.
Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulina wa habibina wa tabi qulubina wa shafi dhunubina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa atba'ihi wa ikhwanihi min al-anbiya'i wal mursalin ajma'in. The first thing I want to say to you is that I love you. Why? Because you are the people who are committed to raise the future generations of Muslims according to the religion of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. My teacher used to say, our mission is to teach religion of Allah to the servants of Allah. This is our mission. And Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Bu'ithtu mu'alliman." I am a teacher. And now you are inheriting this mission. I congratulate you. MashaAllah, you have a very blessed cause. May Allah give you the best success. I will share a few thoughts with you using this occasion. I welcome you to Istanbul. I welcome you to this beautiful madrasa. Here you see that the soul is there. The soul is there. The roots is there. And you breathe it. Even if you don't see it, you breathe it in your heart. And after you spend this night here, you will be a different person, inshallah ta'ala. This ruh will always be with you. It will go everywhere you came from, to South Africa, to America, to UK, to Australia, everywhere. You see this architecture? This architecture is Islamic education architecture. Inshallah, you build your schools accordingly. You see these doors, they are very low. You know, when the student enters the room, enters bowing. But there is glory at the same time. And the windows in the rooms, they are high so that the student doesn't see outside. But they always see inside. And inside there is water pool so that the students hear the beautiful noise of the water while studying inside. And this was a garden here. They put the marble on it. So this is the Islamic education architecture. I have a big worry. And this worry is that Islam reached to us for 15 centuries without any corruption. Now, I am worried about whether we will do everything that's necessary to transmit Islam so that it remains uncorrupted for another 15 centuries. The key role is for education. Alhamdulillah, our ulama in previous generations, they always educated future generations according to Islamic norms and values, and Islam has been transmitted to us uncorrupted. Now, I know that when I pray, I am praying the same way Prophet Muhammad ﷺ prayed. Is it, I am worried about whether my grandchild will pray the same way, or Islam will be lost or corrupted. That's my worry. And that's why what we are doing here is very important. Education. But what's education for? Education is to raise ideal human beings. And every civilization has a concept of an ideal human being. And they have educational systems to raise this ideal human being. Like the Japanese, they have ideal human being concept, and they want to raise the ideal Japanese. Americans, they have ideal American, they want to raise the ideal American. And the Germans, Russians, this is what they are doing. They have established an education system to raise the ideal human being. And in Islam, the ideal human being is called insan kamil. Now the question is whether our education system is producing insan kamil or not. This is the question. If not, then there is a problem. We have to fix. Okay, so what makes education Islamic? The end product. If the end product is the ideal Muslim, the ideal human being according to Islam, then your school is Islamic. But if you fail to produce this, regardless how shiny and how many ayat you hang up on the walls and hanging up Bismillah at the entrance, this is not going to make your school Islamic. So you have to make reverse engineering. First, conceptualize, visualize insan kamil, and what are the qualities of the insan kamil, and how you can inculcate these qualities in your students. So measure your success according to your result. Inna Allah yanzuru ila a'malikum. Allah doesn't look at the process. Allah doesn't look at your car, your house, how nice your pen is. Allah looks at amal. What's the end product? Okay, so look at the end product you produce and measure your success accordingly. So every education system is value-based. You know, they present liberal secular education as if it's valueless. Why? Because they want to deceive everyone that their values is scientific, rational, natural, and universal. And anything different you bring in, they say, oh, these are values, keep them away. This is not true, because even like liberal education system has liberal values, and socialist education system has social values. Capitalist education system has capitalist values. So every education system is based on values. So, but the question is our education system today based on Islamic values? This is very important. So this is something we have to fix as soon as possible, because Muslims are very naive about ilm. You know, they think what's offered through modern or postmodern education is ilm. This is not ilm, this is ideology. You have to separate between what's empirically and rationally proven and their interpretations and the ideologies they serve. Those ideologies, they instrumentalize science to promote their values. So we have to be aware of this fact that they are using biology, they are using psychology to promote their ideology. And these ideologies, they are not science. We have to be very careful about this. So every education system is based on values, and our education system must also be based on values. If our education system is not based on our values, then it's not serving our goal. And the end product will not be the ideal person we want. It will be something different. So that's why we cannot import education system from other countries, because they are built to produce something different. You know, if you import Japanese education system, you will produce a Japanese Muslim. You know, if you import education systems from Finland, you will produce a Finnish person. They say Finnish, you know. You know, so it's not going to be the Muslim, because they have their own values, and their ideal human being is not the same as ours. So there is no universal educational system. Every country, every culture has its own education system to produce its ideal human being, and we have to have our own. Alhamdulillah, you are gathered here to achieve this goal, to take a first step towards this goal. And this is a very blessed cause, very sacred goal. May Allah give you best success. But these values are based on a worldview. They are part of a worldview. They are based on a particular epistemology. And this epistemology is very important for us, because it is what distinguishes us from other civilizations. Our epistemology is distinguished from other civilizations because we accept revelation as a source of knowledge. And our values is based on this epistemology. That's why epistemic sustainability is the most important issue we have to pay attention. Epistemic sustainability, and I mean by it maintaining wahi as a source of knowledge. Because in modern education or postmodern education, this source of knowledge, revelation as a source of, is undermined. The focus is on empiric knowledge or rational knowledge. But our epistemology is comprehensive. It includes wahi as well. So if wahi is discarded by future generations as a source of knowledge, everything else you build upon it collapses. Your values collapses, because like we do many things. Why? Because wahi tells us to do. If wahi is no longer accepted as a source of knowledge, then all these values also collapse. Why? What makes something haram? Because it's in the Quran. But if the future generations don't accept Quran as a source of knowledge, then everything will collapse. So epistemic sustainability, and based on it, moral sustainability, the akhlaq. These are prerequisites for the sustainability of Islam as a civilization, for the sustainability of Ummah. We have to pay attention to these things. What's the method of education in Islam? This is also very important. And Allah Ta'ala explained this in the Quran very clearly in several verses. Let me cite only one of them. يُعَلِّمُهُمْ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. This is the summary of Islamic pedagogy. يُعَلِّمُهُمْ, he teaches them ta'lim, rational education, academic education, professional education, al-kitab, the book, the Quran, wal-hikmah, and there is hikmah on the side of the Quran. So not everything is in the Quran. There is something on the side of the Quran, which is al-hikmah. And this hikmah is universal. Al-hikmatu dalatul mu'min. So that means there is a shared heritage of humanity in knowledge. This is al-hikmah. And this is in addition to the Quran. It's also ta'lim. So ta'lim does two things. Educating the Quran, teaching the Quran, wahi, and also al-hikmah, this common knowledge. And this common knowledge traditionally is called al-ulum al-mushtaraka, or al-ulum al-dakhila, like math, geography, biology, etc. These are common knowledge. And وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, and he purifies them. That is spiritual education. This is moral education. This is character building. So the Islamic methodology of education is grounded on two pillars, ta'lim and tazkiyah. So ask yourself whether in your school there is ta'lim and tazkiyah in a balanced way. And these two things are needed to raise ideal Muslims. And unfortunately, our focus is exclusively on ta'lim, rational education, academic education, and professional education. And tazkiyah is neglected. That's why our graduates are missing something very important. They are not the same as the Muslims from the previous generations who were educated by ta'lim and tazkiyah. So ta'lim, this academic education, mashallah, you are all very specialized, very knowledgeable about these things. But the tazkiyah, it needs to be revived and coupled with ta'lim once again. And the manifestation of tazkiyah, the practical outcome of it is al-futuwa, or makarim al-akhlaq, or adab, or muruwa, different titles. If you had come to this madrasa, when it was running, you would see at the door, Adab Yahoo. In every madrasa, at the entrance, or in every Sufi lodge, they posted this, you know, Adab Yahoo, have etiquette, have good manners for the sake of Allah. You are in the presence of Allah, so have adab, you know, with yourself, with other human beings, with nature, with animals, with everyone. Adab Yahoo. So adab is the most important foundation of education. And also in the Ottoman education, because we are in the madrasa, let me cite one Ottoman couplet. Vardım ilim meclisine, kıldım ilim talep, dediler ilim sonra, illa edeb, illa edeb. I went to the meclis, the circle of ilim. I asked for knowledge. They said, no, no, no. Ilim comes later. First, adab. So first, adab. Because if you teach somebody science and knowledge and profession without teaching him good morality, he will be a very dangerous person. Because he will use all this knowledge, all the power he gains from knowledge in harming other people and exploiting those other people. So again, in the Ottoman system, insan-ı kamil is characterized with three things: aklı selim, zevki selim, kalbi selim. So proper and healthy reasoning and proper and healthy taste. We have seen these young people, they have zevki selim, dhawk, good taste. This is aesthetics. One of the things our education system doesn't pay attention enough is aesthetics. Aesthetics is completely abundant in the modern Islamic education. We need to bring it in and couple it. So, akl selim, zevk selim, and kalbi selim. So, we have to educate the mind, we have to educate the taste, the aesthetic taste, and then the kalbi selim, three of them. And those who have these three qualities, they are the ideal Muslim. An ideal Muslim is ideal human being, because Islamiyet is insaniyet. Allah Ta'ala gave us Islam so that we can become good human beings, perfect human beings. That's the purpose of Islam. Allah gave us Islam so that we can become successful and happy in this world. The purpose of Quran, the purpose of Sunnah is to make us happy and successful in this world. And Islamic education is progressive in the sense that the goal of Islamic education is to elevate the student from taqlid to tahqiq. From taqlid to tahqiq. And taqlid means blind conformism, just conforming, imitating what other people say and go with the flow. That's taqlid. And tahqiq is verifying, double checking, critically analyzing, and coming up with your own ideas. And muhaqqiq is an independent thinker. And in fiqh, for instance, elevation from taqlid to tahqiq makes somebody mujtahid, someone who is intellectually independent, who can come up with his own ideas, opinions, and fatwas. And at the same time, this is with respect to ta'lim. And also with respect to tazkiyah, the progress from nafs al-ammara to nafs al-mutmainna. That's the progress in the area of tazkiyah. Because human beings start with nafs al-ammara, they follow their desires, but this needs to be educated until they subdue their desires to their aql. Then becomes aql ammara. From nafs ammara, the ruling nafs, to aql ammara, ruling aql. And aql, by the way, function of the heart. So, this is how a Muslim makes progress from taqlid and from nafs ammara to tahqiq and nafs al-mutmainna. So these are some of my ideas I wanted to share briefly with you. I know it is late night and there are other speakers in the program. These are some of the points, essential points, that this group may explore further and discuss further, inshallah ta'ala. Once again, I congratulate you for getting together around such a good cause, such a blessed cause, and I pray that Allah ta'ala gives you the best success, inshallah ta'ala, in reviving the Islamic education tradition. But it should be rooted revival. Rooted revival. At-tajdid al-mu'assal. At-tajdid al-mu'assal. Because if you ignore the usul, the roots, you are doomed to fail. And we have observed many efforts which failed because they were not mu'assal. They were not rooted. And mu'assal means methodological. Mu'assal means rooted. Mu'assal means noble. Even the horses have nobility, right? They have usul, they have genealogy. How come human beings? And our usul goes back to Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Our nobility comes from Islam. Our honor comes from following the sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam and makarimul akhlaq. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah, Professor Rajab. I've heard the Professor speak on several occasions. You know, every time I listen to him, I'm so inspired by his knowledge, his wisdom, and his very pleasant demeanor. We make dua to Allah that Allah protects him, inshallah, that he continues to impact on the hearts and minds of students. And I think it's appropriate that he is addressing us, really a doyen in education, inshallah. I pray that when we go back to our schools, we will extract some of the gems he has shared with us and to translate it into practice, inshallah. Jazakumullah again, Professor. Right, it's now my pleasure. Let me see. There are lots of speakers. Allah bless you for your patience. Our next guest, we are honored to have none other than Professor Nasif Yilmaz, the Deputy Minister in the Ministry of National Education. After graduating from the Faculty of Theology from Marmara University, he worked as a religious culture teacher for several years. During the time, he earned his PhD on teaching of Islamic education. In 2014, he was assigned as the General Manager of Religious Education in the Ministry of National Education. In 2022, he was assigned as the Deputy Minister. Professor, welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dünyanın farklı ülkelerinden İslami okullar buluşmasına teşrif eden çok kıymetli misafirlerimiz. Türkiye Maarif Vakfımızın değerli başkanı, Türkiye'deki özel okullarımızın değerli yöneticileri ve eğitim gönüldaşı değerli dostlarım. İstanbul'da Sultanahmet Vakfı'nın ev sahipliğinde bu güzel mekanda ve Darul Hadis'te bizi ağırlayan değerli vakfımızın temsilcileri. Her
foundation and its representatives. I'd like to first thank all of you for this kind invitation. In many different countries of the world, there are many private school administrators here, and our esteemed professor explained us eloquently what education is all about and what it needs to be based on. Our gathering here actually is a rather delayed one, and we have a background of 29 years. Mrs. Enis Şener and Cüneyt Şener, we in London got together with you, they said, on various occasions. I couldn't see Mr. Cüneyt, and when I was the general manager of the religious education, they wanted me to meet him back then, but I couldn't have the opportunity to visit you in London, but in Istanbul, in Payitaht, in the center, in this cultural, historical city, which is very important for our civilization, we managed to get together. As the ayah says, this is actually like an exchange of views. That's the gathering. But I also want to share something that crosses my heart. When we talk about Islamic schools, I thought these schools, all participants, if they are Islamic schools, they would be teaching in Arabic. We could exchange all our views and opinions in the language of Quran, but I see that we're still not talking Arabic but English.
لماذا؟ لأن هؤلاء الضيوف الكرام أتوا من أنحاء العالم لمحادثة ومذاكرة التعليم
We're unable to provide English interpretation since the speaker speaks Arabic now, not Turkish. So the people who speak Arabic now have understood what I am saying. So as if the schools are Islamic, then for sure we need to use the language of the Quran and the Hadith. It needs to be focal as a language. So in Turkey, in the Ministry of National Education, both in private schools and especially in the Imam Hatip schools, we have a model that we try to present to entire world. I will also share with you what we do in teaching Arabic. Dear participants, of course the names of our schools being Islamic does require that the content should be Islamic as well, but it creates major problems if the content is not Islamic. That's why there's an ayat from Quran that I would like to share with you now, and I want to recite it for you. I'm not going to take more of your time since we have other guests. There is someone who knows better than everyone who knows good. So we need to have more dialogue with one another in this modern world. And that is why I believe that this is a rather delayed meeting amongst us for Istanbul, for Turkey. But as far as I can see, in 2025, a major congress is being prepared for the Islamic schools in Turkey. We are already discussing this, and we're very pleased about this, and as the Ministry of National Education would be more than willing to do anything to contribute. We are very sensitive on this topic, and when we talk about Islamic schools in Turkey, we understand the schools that teach the Islamic education. In Turkish education system, we have the 4+4+4. 4 years is the primary school, 4 years secondary, and 4 years is the high school education. After the primary school, there are two choices. One is the general high schools. The second ones are the religious high schools. The religious high schools in Turkey are called Imam Hatip schools. So it's a brand name. So that means they teach students not only have to be an imam and the hatip. That has become a brand during years, but it doesn't mean that they only do this. In the secondary school, we teach Quran and Kerim, the life of our Prophet, and the basic religious sciences are taught. In the official schools, the difference, Quran and Kerim, life of our Prophet, Arabic, and basic religious knowledge. These classes are given in all schools. Either it's a selective class in normal schools, or it is obligatory in the religious high schools, in the secondary part of the religious high schools. And in the high school, the religious Imam Hatip high schools, vocational schools and normal high schools are three options after the secondary school. And these 4 classes are also given in all of the secondary schools as at least selective classes. How did that happen? 10 years ago, as of 2012, by our President, Mr. Erdogan's leadership, in our National Assembly, a law, a decree was
İmam Hatip okullarının tarihi
accepted. The
Türkiye'mizde
history of the
110
Imam
yıllık
Hatip
bir tarihe
schools
sahiptir.
goes back to
Aslında
110
medresenin
years
yani
ago.
az önce
Actually,
mesela
they are
açılışta bu
like the
müessesenin
medreses,
yöneticisi arkadaşımız
the
Osmanlı eğitim sisteminin bir
person
geleneği olarak buradaki eğitimden
who
bahsetti.
runs
İmam Hatip
this
okulları da
institution told
medresenin
us
bir
about the
dönüşümünden ve
medreses
modernize
as an
olmasından
Ottoman
ibarettir. Onun
schooling
için de şu
system,
anda
and the
Türkiye'mizdeki
Imam
İmam Hatip
Hatips
okullarında
are a transformed version of medreses.
%25 ile %30
25
arasında bu
to
değişebilir.
30%
Temel İslam bilimleri %25 diyeyim ben
is
zihninizde net kalsın.
basic
%25
Islamic
temel İslam bilimleri,
sciences,
%75 de
75%
çağdaş bilimlerin yani
is
daha doğrusu
modern
güncel
sciences
bilimlerin,
or the
fen bilimlerinin ve sosyal bilimlerin okutulduğu bir sistemdir.
natural
Şu an
sciences and
Türkiye'mizde
social sciences.
1700
In
kadar
Turkey,
İmam
we
Hatip
have about
Lisesi'nde
1700
ortaokulları
Imam
ile
Hatip
beraber
high schools.
yaklaşık
With the
1 milyon
secondary
350 bin
schools, we
öğrenci
have
eğitim görmektedir.
1.3 million
Peki bu
students being
okulların
schooled.
modeli nedir,
And
sistemi
what
nedir?
is
Ben
the
bunları
model,
uzunca
the system
anlatmayacağım.
of these
Bu
schools?
okulların
I'm not going to go
sisteminde
into the depth
kitabın
of this.
ayetleriyle
We teach
kainatın
the
ayetleri
ayats of
aynı
the
çatı
book
altında verilmekte.
and the
Kitabın
ayats
ayetleri
of
yani
the
ayatul kevn
universe.
ve
Ayatul
ayatul
Kem
kitab
and Ayatul Kitab are being
tek çatı
taught
altında
under the
verilmekte.
same roof.
Öğrenci
So the
matematikten
student
çıkar,
learns
Kur'an-ı Kerim dersine
math
girer,
and then
fizikten
goes
çıkar,
to
hadis dersine
Quran-ı
girer,
Kerim, from physics
fıkıhtan
to
çıkar,
hadith,
kimya
from
dersine gider.
fıkıh to
Ve aslında
chemistry.
çocuk
And
kitap
actually
ile
the
kainat arasındaki
student
ilişkiyi doğru bir şekilde kurmuş olur.
manages to
Çünkü
establish
kitabı
a
da
healthy
gönderen Allah,
relationship
kainatı da
between
yaratan
the
Allah'tır.
book
Ve
and the
bütün
universe,
ilimler
because God
Allah'ın ilim
Almighty
sıfatının
sent the book and
tecellisidir
created
ve
the
ilimlerin tevhidi
universe.
vardır.
So there is a
Dolayısıyla ilimleri
unity
tefrik etmek yanlıştır.
of
Ve onun
the
için bizim
ilim. It
anlayışımızda
is wrong to
el-ulum,
decouple them.
el-İslami, el-ulum gayril İslami diye bir tasnif olamaz.
Bizim
Yani dini
For
ilimler yani
us,
İslami
there are
ilimler
no
İslami olmayan
Islamic
ilimler diye
and
tasnif söz
non-Islamic
konusu değildir. Onun için daha
sciences. We
çok
don't accept
el-ulum-u
this.
şer'iyye
That
ifadesi
is why
kullanılıyor.
we
Aslında
say
şer'iyye dediğimiz şey de
al-ulum
hayatın
al-şariye,
tamamını
which
bir
is
bakıma
the
kapsıyor.
entire
Dolayısıyla İmam Hatip okulları
world,
bu yönüyle
the
bir
life in
model
its
bir kurum olarak
entirety.
Türkiye'mizde
So the Imam Hatip
110 yıllık
schools are a
tarihi
model
olarak devam
institution with a
etmektedir.
history of
Resmi
110
okullar
years,
içerisinde
and they continue
yer
to
alan bu
function.
okullarımızın ben
And
inanıyorum ki
these schools,
İslami
I
okullar
believe,
açısından çok örnekliği
are
vardır.
quite exemplary, I believe. In the last 5 years, we have diversified their programs, and we work on Aklı Selim, Zevk-i Selim, and Kalbi Selim. We have started new programs to educate them on these three, and we have music programs. Some of them are doing calligraphy, and certain art trainings are giving. And some schools, just like I mentioned before, perfect Arabic is taught in prep classes, and we have Imam Hatip schools with 10 different foreign languages: Arabic, Chinese, Persian, Russian, French, Japanese, Spanish, Italian, and English. 10 different foreign languages, so that the students can have debates and discussions among themselves. One other school is focused on natural sciences, and then they have a technological program that they get educated in technology along with basic Islamic sciences. In the secondary part of the high schools, they're also learning how to become hafiz, how to recite the Quran. Previously, the students would have to choose between learning how to read Quran and or how to get a secondary school education, but now they can do them both together in the same school. So all these models, I believe, need to be examined, assessed, especially in our private schools. We have friends from there. Thanks to their efforts, certain private schools are teaching our core religious values, core ahlak values, moral values, and they are here as participants. I see them. So in our country, both in the official schools as Imam Hatip schools and also in private schools, core Islamic values are used to build an education, and I believe that the coordination and cooperation needs to be increased between all these sorts of schools. And as the Ministry of National Education, we will be supporting you. You might rest assured. I would like to thank to the organization team in Turkey, esteemed gentlemen Enis and Cüneyt and their team, since we have a history, and also from abroad we have esteemed professor and their spouse. Thank you so much. I hope this will be a successful gathering. I would also like to add one more thing about the Imam Hatip schools. What I shared with you is available in Arabic, French, and English. If you allow, you can reach it on the address that I will share with you on the screen. And you can get all the details. Thank you so much. God be with you.
Assalamu alaikum. What can I say, my beloved brothers and my sisters? When you hear a deputy minister speak so eloquently about education, about Islamic education and the emphasis on Quran and Sunnah, you cannot help but admire them. And therefore, again, it reinforces our conviction as to why we have come to Turkey. And in my many visits to many countries, and my visits especially to the schools in Turkey, I have left inspired and stimulated. So may Allah give you strength. May you be a leader in the world, inshallah, so that we could come and learn from you, inshallah. As I say, I like it. Alhamdulillah. Okay, I feel better. I said that. I feel a sense of relief. Alhamdulillah. And you know, early on we have heard Professor Rajab, we have heard the Deputy Minister, and for me it's an exciting night because I'm about to introduce another dear friend of mine, Professor Muhammad Abdullah. And inshallah he is going to share with us a message, and whenever I listen to him, I am moved by sincerity, by his knowledge, and we go back and reflecting on what he has said. A little background about our beloved professor. He's a professor of Islamic Studies, and he is a founding director of the Center for Islamic Thought and Education at the University of South Australia. Professor.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم ربنا لك الحمد والشكر كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك اللهم إنا نعوذ بك منك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. My dear respected brothers and sisters, I must begin by reminding myself and yourself of the beautiful hadith and saying of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا يشكر الله من لا يشكر الناس. He will never be grateful to Allah who is not grateful to people. So I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers of this historic event, I would say. Brother Zafar and his team, you have done a marvelous job. Jazakumullah khair, honestly, from the bottom of our hearts. I can imagine how difficult it has been. We could see it on your faces. You're very tired, but Allah can only reward you. But we are very grateful to you and to the team, and indeed very grateful to our host tonight. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate your status. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your amal. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to use us and yourself for the khidmah of His deen. My brothers and sisters, I know you're tired, and therefore I did have a prepared speech. I was going to talk about the meaning of tajdeed, renewal, and with a specific reference to Islamic education. I was going to define it and talk about what it means and what it does not mean. And I was going to give you examples from our amazing history, some wonderful examples about how our scholars of the past were able to confront almost similar intellectual, socio-economic, political challenges that we are facing, that they faced, and how they were able to counteract those through a worldview and an Islamic pedagogy. And we heard much about that from Professor Rajab. So I won't bore you with that tonight. But if we have time, if tomorrow, for example, or any other day, I'm happy to share those ideas with you. And so relax. We're not going to have another speech. But what I want to actually, as I was listening to all the talks, and as I was listening to what we have been talking about over the last 2 days, I could not help myself but think about one thing that I think is very important for all of us, and that is this. If we truly want to bring those values that we so many times hear about in our learners, then I ask you and myself honestly, the extent to which we have those qualities and we have those characters. For is it not true that the greatest impact on the learner comes from the teacher? And if this teacher himself or herself have not worked on themselves to bring the tazkiyah that we heard about, to bring the reform of the self that we heard about, for this teacher himself or herself to truly connect with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, then how is it possible that we can impart that to the learner when we ourselves, and I speak about myself here, have failed to do so? Is it not true in our Islamic tradition that the teaching of knowledge is not about transmission of information, but rather the transformation of the individual learner and the teacher or the educator? Is it not about transformation? Of course it is. If it is about transformation, and we do want to transform the lives of the learner, then again I ask myself and yourself, to what extent have we transformed ourselves in the spiritual sense, in the sense of connecting with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, so that we can impact on the life of the learner? Is it not true that the learner knows and can analyze you as a teacher while you're standing in the classroom and know whether you are truly genuine in what you are teaching or not? Is it not true? Is it not true that the learner can identify whether what we say is what we believe in, or what we say is simply just to transmit a lesson and move on? Do they not know that? Does not your child in the house, who is sitting in the corner playing with toys, observing everything that you are doing? Is he not doing that? She's not doing that? Are they not absorbing what they are seeing, what they are witnessing? Of course they are. And that's why our great ulama of the past, they said a child is like a sponge. It absorbs everything that it sees and hears around it. And it can distinguish between a genuine educator and one who is not. They are our measure And unless we truly, each one of us, reflects on their relationship with Allah Ta'ala. When was the last time you and I woke up at night in tahajjud and made dua for that learner? Do we believe that it is us only who has the ability to transform the life of this learner, or it's Allah Ta'ala who has that? Of course Allah Ta'ala. And I want to share with you a story which I shared with some of you already, but excuse me for the repetition, but it's such a powerful story about one of our great imams that demonstrates this very point, that it is not what comes out of the mouth that impacts the life of the learner, but it's what comes out of the heart that impacts them. It's the embodiment of what we want to see in the learner that we must have in ourselves, and this is how Rasulullah ﷺ did it. This is how the imams of the past did it. How many times we hear stories of the great imams that the greatest impact they had on the child through their adab, through their akhlaq, the imam's adab, the imam's akhlaq, the teacher's adab, the teacher's akhlaq, the teacher's genuine concern for the learner. The story of Imam al-Awza'i, which I shared with some of you, the Imam al-Awza'i rahmatullah alayhi was one of those great imams of the caliber of Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i and Maliki and so forth, but whose madhab did not survive, was traveling for Hajj. On the way, a thief stopped him, wanted to kill him. He said, but before I kill you, tell me what you do. He says, I teach the children Quran. He said, in that case, before I kill you, read an ayah to me. So the Imam rahmatullah alayhi read half an ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وفي السماء رزقكم وما توعدون. Allah says, in the heavens, meaning with Allah, is your rizq, your sustenance, your provisions, and everything else that you have been promised. That's it. That's all he read. But it came from the heart of one who is convinced and lives it. So it went straight to the heart of the thief. He dropped the sword and he said, I've made tawbah. Allah promises me that He will sustain me, but I kill for it. And they went their way. When the Imam was doing tawaf around the Kaaba at night, he could hear somebody who's facing the Kaaba and weeping. And the Arabs have a saying, they say he was weeping like a mother whose child was slaughtered in her lap. So he goes to the man, puts his hand on his shoulder, he consoles him and says, take it easy on yourself, my brother. Inna Allah Rahmanun Rahim. Allah is Rahmanun Rahim. When the man turns around, it's the thief. Look at the impact. And then when he calmed down, he said, read me another ayah. So the Shaykh continued the ayah. فَوَرَبِّ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌّ مِثْلَ مَا أَنَّكُمْ تَنْطِقُونَ. By the Rabb of the heavens and the earth, it is as true as your own speech, meaning the fact that Allah sustains you. Or the story of the Imam, or the teacher who had students, but one of those students was quite naughty. And the other students warned the teacher and the Shaykh about this naughty student. This is from our heritage. These are not fairy tales. And so they warned the teacher that don't take him in because he's naughty. He said, no, this is the student I actually want. After a while, this student who drove this teacher nuts, crazy, he passed away. And so the students came to inform the teacher that the student who troubled you died. And so the teacher or the Shaykh started crying. And they said, we don't understand. He gave you such a hard time and you're crying. He said, you don't understand. The man Allah sent to teach me patience died. The one Allah sent to teach me sabr died. That's the relationship that was between the teacher, the educator, and the learner. And often when we speak about reforming or renewing education in Islamic schools, we seem to forget ourselves. And always when we talk about PD and training, it's always related to everything but the reformation of our own selves. And the ulama believed in the past, who were all educators, that their strength is not in what they knew, but their strength came in their relationship with Allah Ta'ala. And that's why it was common practice among the Muslims of the past, whether lay person or alim, that after Fajr Salah until sunrise, they will not get up until they finish their dhikr and Quran and dua. Because they felt that is the powerhouse. Now, as an educator, how many of us do that? They believe that the power to reform or the power to help the learner become the transformed being that we so many times hear about, that insan kamil, perfect person, they believe that could only be achieved when the person himself or herself who's educating the learner, they underwent that transformation. And that's why there is a saying in Arabic, and I'll finish with this, فَاقِدُ الشَّيْء لَا يُعْطِيهِ. The Arabs have a saying, one who does not possess something cannot give it. How can we give what we don't have? And so I invite you and myself, in this amazing journey of ours, and in this wonderful initiative that we all have taken part in, not to forget ourselves, not to forget our relationship with Allah Ta'ala, not to forget that as the words come out of our mouth in that classroom, that this learner is observing our akhlaq and our character and our conduct, and he can feel and she can feel whether what we are trying to impart is genuine and real, is coming out of concern. As when Allah described his Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when Allah wanted to describe Rasulullah, he says, Harisun alayhim. He is overly concerned for them. Is this how we are with our learners? May Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq to bring that islah in ourselves so that we can impart it to our learners. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
You know, I've been thinking this entire, this is the third day that we're here, and we were asked to share 4 days. Is it 4 days? MashaAllah, it's gone so fast. We were asked to share this morning, what are some of the things that you're going to take away? What are some of the treasures you've discovered in these few days that you've been here among this, MashaAllah, this company, in this beautiful city? And most of us talked about how we appreciate the people that we've met and the things that we've learned from them. And I'm so grateful that Professor Abdullah made it out here from Australia, and I had the opportunity to sit at a table with him and listen to him. And really, I think he just really, you touched my heart, and I'm really grateful. And that's a treasure for me. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakumullah. There are many people who would love to have been here, many people who are pioneers, many people who have had an impact on the lives of others. One such person is Brother Yusuf Islam. When I shared with him a few weeks ago about this initiative, he was so excited. He was so excited. And I know he would support it materially and also physically. And he said, I'd love to join you all this evening, but sadly he could not. But we have a short video message from him, which we'd like to share with you now.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you this time, but I'm linking up through the magic, if you like, of technology. The aim of education cannot be separated from the aim of life itself. And so working with Muslim schools and as we did in the beginning, beginning with almost nothing as a model, apart from, of course, the inspiration of the First World Conference of Islamic Education in Mecca, there wasn't that much to go on. So the need really became to develop on the spot That kind of approach now, I think, is certainly out of date, and the need for a kind of an organization like Global Association of Islamic Schools is so vital, because that's where the constant research and development of materials and advice and guidance needs to be established. We did try to do that back in the 90s with IBR, Islamic Board of Educational Research and Resources. But everybody was so busy that it was difficult to continue that work. And that's where I would make the recommendation that GAIS does establish some kind of administration function within itself that is funded and can continue that work with those who are not necessarily tied down in the classroom. So I think that will be my recommendation. The challenge is massive, but so is the reward. So I wish you all the best, inshallah, all my brothers and sisters in this great endeavor, and may Allah bless your work. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Be there with you.
It's not me speaking, don't worry. Anyway, I know you'll have faith in me. Anyway, Jazakumullah for being so patient. And now I call upon my co-host, right? Okay, let me call Zafar, right? Now we're going to call upon Zafar Ahmad, who is a person that conceived this idea, a person that we worked with, a person that is the headmaster of Al-Falah School. And may Allah bless you, Zafar, for your drive and your passion. And the floor is yours to share with our brothers and sisters the vision and mission of GAIS.
Just a correction. I didn't conceive or create this. I'm blessed just to be at the right time with the right people. And it was a time for an idea to germinate, and it did. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time with the right people, and I'm so blessed for that. All glory, praise, and thanks belongs to Allah, the eternally merciful, creator, nourisher, sustainer, the exceptionally merciful Lord of the world, to whom is our ultimate return. Our choicest salutations, durood and salam, on the best of Allah's creation, the most distinguished of all the prophets, the most eloquent in speech, the most noble in character, the perfect example for all mankind, and a mercy to all of humanity, our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is my privilege and honor to welcome you all to this function this evening, and a special word of welcome to our honored guest, Dr. Nazif Yilmaz, Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Omar Farooq Kirkmas, we welcome you, Mr. Haki Aghun, Professor Pirol, Mr. Enes Jan, Harun Yasser, and Farooq Totak, and many of the other guests that have joined us today. It is indeed through the grace and special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are able to gather here this evening for this historic and momentous occasion, and that too in this magnificent building that has so much of history in it. To the many delegates from around the world and the Turkish guests that have so graciously accepted our invitation to be here with us tonight, we are very honored that you lend your support to the Global Association of Islamic School. I address you at a most critical time in our history. It is a time when this ummah is bleeding. It is a time when our youth are disillusioned, at a time when our children need to be nurtured into leaders through an education that is transformational. In my very short address this evening, I wish to divide it into two parts. Firstly, very quickly, give you an introduction to the Global Association of Islamic Schools, and secondly, to tell you why we are in this beautiful city of Istanbul and this magnificent country of Turkey. Islamic schools, as you know, have existed for a very long time. But we've seen a rapid growth in Islamic schools in the last 2 or 3 decades. Much of this was spurred on by the first ever World Conference held on Islamic education in Mecca in 1977. Since then, remarkable progress has been made, but a single project that remained unrealized was the creation of a unified global body of Islamic education. Inspired by this need, the Global Association of Islamic Schools was founded with the aim to bring Islamic schools together from around the world to build global solidarity and to promote a culture of excellence in Islamic education as well as in Islamic schools. What is significant is that the Global Association of Islamic Schools is the first effort in a strategic global collaboration amongst Islamic schooling, and it affords us the opportunity to positively impact Islamic schools globally. GAIS members from around the world have gathered in this beautiful city of Istanbul this week to craft a global strategy for a shared global vision for Islamic education. We recognize that we need clarity of purpose, we need a clear roadmap, and it's necessary to create a structure in order to maximize our global impact for a sustained and enduring transformation in the generations to come, inshallah. The Global Association of Islamic Schools is uniquely positioned for global networking and collaboration among K-12 Islamic schools and the various stakeholders that support this sector, to provide research through and thought leadership, to facilitate resource sharing across the sector, to amplify and spotlight good practices, thus fast-tracking the development in the entire sector, to generate global accreditation standards for Islamic schools by Islamic schools, to collectively solve challenges we face at a global level, to solve problems globally and to act locally. The second reason we are in Istanbul, Turkey, is because we wish to share our aspiration of hosting the 9th Global Conference on Islamic Education in 2025 in this magnificent city of Istanbul, inshallah. To this end, we wish to share our desire and hope to partner with like-minded Turkish organizations to help us achieve this much-needed objective, inshallah. There have been 8 previous global conferences on Islamic education, as the slide indicates. We believe Turkey is best placed for the 9th Global Conference on Islamic Education. What are the compelling reasons for this, and why do we believe this? Firstly, from the earliest days of the great Ottoman Empire, the key objective of education system was to raise good Muslims. This enduring legacy resonates with all the member organizations of the Global Association of Islamic Schools. Secondly, this relentless aspiration is also reflected, as we heard, from the good minister today in the Imam Hatib High School system, where for over 2 centuries now, Quran and Sunnah-centered education is taught alongside and integrated into the teaching of natural and social sciences. Third, this very majestic building we're in served as a platform to create the very teachers Professor Abdullah spoke about, to create that generation, what was required to raise good Muslims. Fourth, we believe Turkey is a locus of Islamic education renewal, of innovation and thought leadership at both the K-12 and the university level. Turkey has historically served as a cultural, political, and economic bridge between the East and West, and is therefore perfectly positioned to host the global conference, bringing educators from all across the globe to this beautiful city. Turkey is well placed geographically and ideologically to host this far-reaching and impactful global conference on Islamic education for the magnitude we envisage, inshallah. Some Muslim majority countries have previously hosted Islamic education conferences, and it would be befitting for Turkey to now have this golden opportunity. Finally, in the celebration of excellence, we find great Turkish rulers and scholars who pushed the boundaries to change the course of history, and to this day, they motivate greatness and innovation. The 9th Global Conference on Islamic Education is yet another opportunity for the current day leadership in Turkey to make its mark on the global stage and again positively impact the lives of millions of Muslim children around the globe. It is this shared vision of the Global Association of Islamic Schools and the legacy of this great nation of Turkey, of holistic education and inclusion in a pluralistic society that sets Turkey apart from others as the foremost nation to host the 2025 Global Association of Islamic Schools Conference, which, as you know, will commemorate the 50th anniversary of the first ever global conference that was held in Mecca in 1977. I invite you, ladies and gentlemen, the leadership of this great nation of Turkey, to join us as we set to make an indelible impression on the global Islamic school landscape. We are convinced with the kind of momentum the Global Association of Islamic School has achieved, and with your abiding support, there is hope. The children of Islam need you, and the time is now. Let us unite in brotherhood, in unity of purpose, and rally around our vision to host the 9th Global Conference on Islamic Education in Turkey, inshallah. I pray that Allah guide our efforts with sincerity and success, inshallah. I thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is also my great pleasure now to invite Professor Dr. Sheikh Abdul Mabood, who is based at the Sultan Umar Ali Saifuddin Center for Islamic Studies at the University of Brunei. Concurrently, he is also the Director General of the Islamic Academy at Cambridge. He knew and worked closely with Professor Sayyid Ali Ashraf, rahimahullah. He not only attended some of the previous world conferences on Muslim education, but he himself organized 2 of them. We present to you, ladies and gentlemen, a recorded message from Professor Dr. Sheikh Abdul Mabood.
رب العالمين As-salatu was-salamu ala rasulihil kareem. Praise be to Allah who has created humans and taught them what they did not know. Prayers be to the last of Allah's messengers who was sent as a mercy to the entire creation and the guidance to humankind. Excellencies, respectable organizers of the Global Association of Islamic Schools, honorable guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I am Sheikh Abdul Mabood from the Sultan Umar Ali Saifuddin Center for Islamic Studies, University Bunai Darus Salam. I have the utmost pleasure to be in this august gathering. I thank the management of the Global Association of Islamic Schools for inviting me to address you this evening. I am so inspired by the establishment of the Global Association of Islamic Schools for the promotion of Islamic education. This is a continuation of the journey that was started 45 years ago through the organization of the First World Conference on Muslim Education held in Mecca in 1977. Today I remember with great humility the name of Professor Syed Ali Ashraf, who conceived of the idea of the First World Conference and masterminded this and other world conferences on Muslim education. Among many people whose commitment and dedication made these conferences successful, mention must be made of His Excellency Sheikh Ahmad Salah Jamjoom and His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Umar Nasif, whose unwavering moral, financial, and administrative support brought the conferences to fruition. I'm so glad to see that the educational movement they initiated is now moving forward with renewed synergy, and I fervently hope that this movement will succeed in achieving its noble objectives. Education is the backbone of nation. It is the pathway to progress individually and collectively, materially and spiritually. Time has come for Muslims to utilize their resources so that they can emerge as a force to be reckoned with in the international arena, global economy, and world civilization. It is time for the Muslim world to regain its historical role so that it can turn out to be a beacon to the entire world. Islamic scholarship is the gateway to this grand destination. This is possible through conscious efforts to purify ourselves and live in accordance with the Quran. It is not the Muslims that brought glory to Islam. It is Islam that made the Muslims great. So let the light of Islam be the guiding spirit in this journey of ours. Allah the Almighty has so willed that you are here in Istanbul now, attending this conference in a blessed atmosphere. As a witness to the Islamic education movement, since its inception with the First World Conference on Muslim Education, I am thrilled to announce here that the Global Association of Islamic Schools is planning for the next World Conference on Muslim Education to take place in 2025. Inshallah, thousands of Muslims from all over the world are looking forward to this conference with the hope that you will come up with a clear roadmap based on the Islamic principles to which the Muslim Ummah should be committed. You have indeed taken upon yourselves an awesome task, a great responsibility. Let us join hands together to make this endeavor a success. In this gathering, I can see the beginning of a new day in the history of the Ummah. Let me conclude with a few couplets from Allama Muhammad Iqbal. Yet the gardener not be sad to see the garden's blight, for soon its branches will be gay with buds like stars of light. The withered leaves and weeds will pass, and all its sweepings old. For there again will murder blood in roses red unfold. But look, a hint of russet hue, brightening the eastern skies. The glow on yon horizon's brow heralds a new sunrise. May Allah be with you. I pray for the Global Association of Islamic Schools. I pray for you all. May He grant you help and guidance and make your task easy. Ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the program, but just before we conclude, I'd like to say thank you and acknowledge a few people. So I'd like to call Sister Layla and Brother Abid up to assist with this part of the program, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. I want to begin by saying thank you, Jazakumullah khair, for the hospitality that we have received. It's overwhelming. All the institutions that have opened their doors, the delegates, everywhere we've gone, it's been an incredible hosting and open hearts. You've opened your hearts to us, and I think right about now we all want to move to Turkey, and we're going to leave our countries behind because this is an incredible, incredible place. The nur of Islam shines wherever we are. The minarets, the masajid, it's incredible. You are so blessed to be here, and we are all very, very jealous, very envious. So thank you for your hospitality and welcoming us, and we hope to come back again, inshallah. And we welcome you to come to any of our countries anytime. We will open our doors, inshallah. So there are so many people to thank. As you all know, it takes so many people to get any small thing done. And there are so many people that we may not name, we will not name. But I will begin by just thanking our speakers for tonight, the deputy. Jazakumullah khair. Beautiful reminders from our speakers tonight. Deputy Nazif Yilmaz, thank you so much. I don't know why he's sitting. Oh, there you are. And Professor Recep Senturk. We don't, Recep? He's gone? Okay. But we thank you so much for the beautiful and wise words. And we'd like to just give you a small gift of gratitude. Okay. Jazakallah khair. I'll tell you. All right. And we'd also like to thank Professor Abdullah for your keynote tonight, a small token. All right, and Dr. Farah Ahmed for your help. She's left, okay. Shaza Khan for your assistance in organizing the gala. Just taking it in. So there was a whole team on the ground here. We were Zooming from all over the world, but there was a logistics team here, and we are not going to be able to get all their names. We just have a few, and whoever we forget, Allah remembers, Allah knows the work that you have done, and may Allah reward you. We'll begin with the man of the hour, Brother Ahmed Junaid. There he is. This has been our, he's been steering us, guiding us, planning. Yes. Yes. No, this is fine. This is I don't think there's anything we can give him to show gratitude for what he's done. It's just a token to say thank you. The institution that hosted us, VAKFI, We have someone from there here tonight? Okay. Dr. Tugba. Okay. We're going to get through this much faster than we thought. Zainab Alp. That's okay, I've got it. Yeah, it's fine. Sister Zainab. Okay. That's okay. We had, as you know, we've been working for months, and we had several days of preparation. We'd like to thank Brother Nadim Maymoon. He was here. There he is. He's coming. Oh. And Brother Dylan Chown. Silma Ihram. Sister Silma. Yes, Sister Silma, for helping us in the planning and preparation. It doesn't, it's all right. Over there. And now for our steering committee, conference planning committee, and strategic planning committee. Brother Yahya, who has, I think he hasn't slept in probably a year, running a school, running from country to country, planning everything you can imagine. May Allah continue to give you the strength and steadfastness. Sister Sufia, who's been managing and administrating and maintaining documents and meetings for as long as we can remember. Sister Sufia. Brother Waqas Ali is also part of our steering committee. Oh. Brother Abdullah Suji. Mashallah, these are people who have been in meetings for almost a year. We meet every week, and then towards the end we were meeting 3 or 4 times a week. I told them we were spending more time with each other than our own families. Brother Abid Sadiq Omerson. Brother Abid is right here helping still. Sheikh Irshad Hamod. Sheikh Irshad, one of our guides in everything we do, mashallah. Misbahuddin Sayyid. Brother Misbah. Brother Fahad Haroon. Brother Idris Hamisa. MashaAllah. He kept us smiling. I'm not giving it to him first. Brother Ahmed Al-Hattab, who helped plan and coordinate this entire event here tonight. MashaAllah. Dr. Layla Shatara, that's me. Next, I'd like to, we also, as you heard, we visited several schools. We really had a wonderful time meeting the teachers and the students and the principals at these schools. We'd like to just give these certificates to the schools where we visited. Recep Tayyip Erdogan Imam Hatip Lisesi. And I apologize for my pronunciation. Next time I'll take a Turkish course before we come. No. Yeah, you can give. Irfan School. Kartal Anadolu Imam Hatib Lisesi. Is that good enough? Oh, I remember you. We were at your school. You did an amazing presentation in English. You did, mashallah. Okay, brother Ahmed, I'm going to make an attempt to pronounce this.
Bilgi Çağı Koleji.
That's what I meant to say.
Can I have a few words?
Yes.
Cümleten selamünaleyküm. Bilgi Çağı Koleji olarak yazmışlar burada. Biz Özkur bir Özelöğretim Kurumları Birliği Derneği olarak yönetimdeki arkadaşlarımızın da desteğiyle İslami Okullar Birliği'nin bu toplantısına İstanbul'daki operasyonunda destek verdik. Kendileriyle güzel bir çalışmamız oldu bir hafta boyunca. İnşallah hayırlı neticeler olmasını diliyoruz. Cümleten teşekkür ediyoruz. Allah razı olsun. Teşekkürler.
Okay. Haki Dimer Imam Hatib Lisesi.
I think there is no one. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I know this one, Asfa School. There's just one more. This one is a very special award, recognition for, he said he just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right people. But it takes the right kind of heart and soul and mind. There's an announcement. It's about this very special person. We're all going to try to guess who that is, but here's the video.
The Global Association of Islamic Schools envisions a world where Islamic schools positively impact their communities by educating students who embody ihsan. It is our mission, inshallah, to bring Islamic schools together from around the world to build global solidarity and to promote a culture of excellence in all that we do. We hope that this platform, the Global Association of Islamic Schools, will provide thought leadership, network opportunities, and research-based standards for holistic and relevant education in Islamic schools throughout the world.
This is our surprise to you. With our sincerest appreciation, we hereby present Muhammad Zafar Ahmed, executive committee member, as he always humbly used to name his name, his title, executive committee member, but he is much more than that. He is the executive committee itself, himself, of the Global Association of Islamic Schools, GAIS, the Leadership Award in recognition of your inspiring leadership and unwavering commitment. Presented by GAIS family, Rabi' al-Awwal, 1444, October 2022.
Brother Zafar. Thank you. Who's closing it? Who's closing it? Right. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Bu simültane cihazlarını masalarda bırakalım. Giderken yanımızda götürmek gibi bir gaflette bulunmayalım. Yabancı misafirlerim. Oh. Well, I told this in Turkish, the devices should be on the tables, so they will collect them. Nazif hocam, buraya şöyle topluca bir fotoğraf alsak. Yes. If the stage carries, we will make a big family photo here.